addition to homeless, they didn't make very good personal decisions about, you know, bringing in roommates when they're 2 months behind rent and that kind of stuff. I don't have any idea how they eat. Some of them are on food stamps and WIC, but I don't know how they get those programs. They've been resistant to coming to talk to county caseworkers. They decline to get emergency assistance. They don't talk to the financial aid people at the school.
Okay.
So they're obstructive teenagers in addition to incompetent house providers, you know, and it's hard to help them.
In their defense, we know from all the research that's been done on kids who find themselves homeless or have been in that situation for a long time, well over half have suffered maltreatment, abuse, many other challenging family issues. So there may be the one kid that comes from an upper middle class loving family who, you know, screws up and finds himself out on his own. Most of the kids for whom we are trying to work out a solution do not have the skills that the average kid gets growing up in a caring family environment. So the expectation that they are going to respond the way we would like them to respond is, I mean, they're not going to be able to meet that expectation.
I think that I think that's part of the problem is that I've heard through all of this that the services that are offered are so kind of hard to find. They're at different places within the county, they're at different buildings, different, you know, WDI has some, social service has some. With this shelter that we're looking at, do you think it would be helpful? We also thought of making it as a one-stop shopping type of place. I know also homeless sometimes have a hard time admitting they're homeless. They don't want to go to the county because they don't want to tell the county all their information. Do you think that having this one-stop shop for homeless to go, they know they can go there, they know they're going to find what they need, would that be helpful?
Well, that's why you need to define the demographics, so you're not trying to do a one-stop cure-all for everybody, because you're going to have issues that contributed to the homelessness. So you need to know if this is family that's falling on hard times, they just need a house and they need someone to help them through and make some connections for them. Or is this someone with severe mental health issues that needs to be in contact with someone that can help them with mental health issues? So you have a number of issues, and if you have a broad range, I mean, the youth, you said your age plus 5 years, well, if we start expanding, I mean, an 8-year-old needs a whole lot different type of services at a shelter than an 18-year-old would. So defining who you're going to help in what type of situation is going to be critical, so you're not trying to throw everybody into one type of a shelter.
Right, but if we had one spot where everybody could go and then we could direct them from there, you know, not necessarily helping them right there on the spot, but saying, here's the resources for you. You're an 8-year-old, here's your resources. You're a family of 5.
Having the information available.
Yes, in one spot.
Which is potentially, to some degree, the idea of a drop-in center. You know, if you have a transitional home with a caseworker there throughout most of the day, it's a place that people know they can stop in, you know, get resources, potentially get some food, maybe shower, use a computer, do whatever, and there's somebody there who's trained to help them connect to what are the services that you do need and where do you need to go to get them. And that's part of what's being talked about in the other room with the resource part of it, resource collaboration is there's a lot of difficulty within the community right now with everybody knowing what other people are doing and offering, and how do we make sure that somebody who has been started in the system, the other people in other organizations can know what they've used already and what they've been served with, and they're trying to find better ways to share that information. Yeah.
I was also thinking, I looked up on the Children's Law Center, and there's a lot available in terms of looking at statutes, so running away and harboring a runaway is a problem. However, the Children's Law Center has brought together some formats of introducing how can I live with a friend's family legally and get the support, the care, the shelter that I need. And so there are avenues that can be pursued that most of us don't really know about. So consolidating this with your caseworker who knows and providing these resources gives us a couple of options to help pick and choose how best can I deal with my situation.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I was talking to Tammy about, 'cause at the dinner last week at Sante's, there were a couple of different people there who said, you know, we took in some kids, and one of them took in 2 kids, and they got the judge to basically sign them over and let them adopt them and take them in. And, there was a lot of success in that situation. They still stay in touch with the kids who are grown up and gone. And yet I think most, reasonable people, that would scare the crap out of them a little bit to think about doing that if you don't know those kids. And that's one of the systems that LSS is trying to put into effect here, is a 21-day fostering program.
It's not
Which-
foster
Or not fostering,
Okay.
yeah, not foster care, but it's like more of an emergency
Like,
21-day service, where during that time, they're trying to counsel the family, counsel the child, try to get the reconciliation, get them back together. And then if that doesn't work, then they have to move on and try and get them in with more of a long-term care situation. But, I know, I mentioned to that group that my wife has a nephew living out a half hour east of here, who's, the dad is an alcoholic, and, the mom is an alcoholic, the dad is not being a dad, and basically saying, who wants my kid? And, we've got 2 kids, and it's like, geez, do we, about 6, 7 years old, do we take them, do we give this kid a chance in life and whatever? And, is there a way to have a supportive service that makes people more comfortable with doing that? So that it's not such a scary thing? I don't know. It's another place to start, so there's so many different ideas, and we need to figure out what's the right way to do things, and is it a bunch of them? Yeah.
I wanted to say that too, it sounds like the broad spectrum you're talking about in the ages, it sounds like the bridge in Minneapolis, because one of their goals is reunification, and they deal with runaways and stuff. And so the 10 units that we're involved in is just a small fraction of the people that they serve. So, most of our programs are probably working with older youth, 16 plus. And then some of our programs that aren't labeled as youth are working with young people, either 18 or older. So there's always a